Yo, what's going on everybody? The Cool Geek here, and I'm at another video. And today I'm going to be doing a power scale on Super Buu, going over his feat, some of the statements surrounding him, and some common misconceptions that people still have. Let's get into it. So yeah, like I was saying, I'm going to be doing this video on good old Super Buu here. But before we get started, shout out to 007. His Discord name and tag will be in the description. He's the one who made me this nice thumbnail. Also, before we get into the actual scaling, I highly recommend you check out my What is the Fourth Dimension video. It'll be the logic in that video is going to be very important to the scaling of Super Buu in this video. So yeah, I highly recommend you check that out. And if you ever, if you don't want to check it out off the bat, if you come to something in the scaling that you don't understand as far as power goes, check out that video. I probably explain what I mean in that one. Link will be in the description and probably in the iCard as well. But and also I'll have a link in the description to my How to Power Scale playlist. That'll be a playlist teaching you almost everything you need to know about power scaling characters. The dimensional tiering video is a little bit outdated, but I sort of correct myself in the later videos, like How to Power Scale Part 1. I correct my a few of the things that I said. Anyway, let's get into it. First of all, we're gonna start off with one of Super Boo's more famous feats, and but I'm gonna flesh it out more because a lot of people don't really know the context behind it. But so Gotenks is fighting with Super Buu, right? And Gotenks is losing, right? He's in his Super Saiyan 1 state, and he tries to be dramatic to make it more climactic when he goes Super Saiyan 3 and finally beats the crap out of Super Buu. But Piccolo, panicking, he blew up the door to the hyperbolic time chamber from the inside, right? Because they're all in there, and Super Buu, and he rubs it in Super Buu's face, right? He says, "Yeah, this is a separate dimension, and that was the only way to escape, right? So no matter how strong you are, you cannot escape." Which implies even if Super Buu was infinitely strong, he still would not be able to escape, right? Um, now you might think that's a bit of a reach. Um, it's really not when I show you what I'm about to show you. So Super Buu doesn't like that too much, so he starts yelling. And he yells his way directly out of the time chamber, right? He yells a hole in the space-time. And when he does that, he can, escape. And before you say, oh, that's an outlier, Gotenks turns into a Super Saiyan 3, starts yelling, and what's that? Oh, a hole leading directly out of the time chamber. So yeah, it's consistent. Super Buu level people consistently, rip holes in space time, and then Gotenks can escape. Now, here's the thing, right? Vegito was fighting Super Buu Gotenks absorbed. Now, granted, this is a stronger Super Buu, but there's nothing to suggest he got over infinitely stronger. But Super Buu Gotenks absorbed, or Buhan, right? He was making holes in the dimension, right? In the main universe, right? Holes in the space-time so big that he's gonna bring in alternate dimensions to crush the main universe, right? So yeah, that's a solidly into 4D right there. And before you say, oh, it's just hacks, right? It's space-time hacks. Well, there's a few things for that, right? First of all, hacks in Dragon Ball are directly linked to AP, right? Every time you have someone who's stronger than another character, they can pretty much always resist or break out of whatever hacks it is. But also, here's something from a guide, right? It says that 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 Boo, the reason he was able to escape the Room of Spirit and Time, or the hyperbolic time chamber, is because of his strength, right? It seems that his power was also what enabled Boo to escape from the Room of Spirit and Time, right? So yeah, that's directly debunking the "but it's just hacks though" argument, right? Directly says it's because of his power that allowed him to escape the time chamber. Um, so yeah, I think that's important to get out the way. So Super Buu is 4D on the lower end of Universal Plus, right? If you need more context behind that, again, watch my video on the fourth dimension. But now let's get into Super Boo's speed. This is a bit more contentious, right? Um, Here's the thing. So I've heard people say as a speed feat, right? That Fat Boo was gonna destroy the universe within the lifespan of a Kaioshin. Now here's the thing. The regular Kais, right? Like King Kai and all of them, right? The regular Kaioshins, they were not scared of getting killed by Super Buu. You can argue that's because they didn't know about him, but even still, like, there's nothing to suggest it was in the life of a regular Kaioshin. Now, he was, on the flip side, going to destroy the universe in the lifespan of a Supreme Kai, right? Now, here's why that matters, right? I found a few different guide statements, but, um, normal Kaioshin's lifespan are 75,000 years, right? But a Supreme Kai can live uh up to up to 5 million years, right? We're not up to, but that's the average, right? They can live 5 million years on average, but up over 75 million. But if we say 5 million as a decent estimate, right? Because he's gonna destroy the universe before the current Supreme Kai can die, right? Can die of old age, or else they wouldn't be scared, right? If it's like, oh yeah, he's gonna destroy the universe, but like, I'm not gonna be around for it, they wouldn't be so terrified, right? Now, this is important, right, for the speed, but here's a few more things, right? Because it says here, regular Kais live roughly 75,000 years, and here that regular Kais also live 75,000 years, right? So Supreme Kais live longer for like 5 million years, if not more. Now, okay, that solves the time frame, right? About 5 million years. But now the question is, well, how big is the Dragon Ball universe? Occam's razor, you would assume that it would be the same size as our universe, right? 200 billion galaxies, because it's pretty much based off of our universe, right? But there are some things that say it's kind of not. Although no, here, let me just show you what I mean, because it's stated that in some guides like the Daizenshu and a few other guides, but it says that the Dragon Ball universe is infinite, right? So it says galaxies that exist infinitely in the universe, right? So that means there's an infinite number of galaxies in the universe, right? They exist infinitely, right? Now, here's another guide. It says infinitely expansive universe, right? So it's infinite, right? And it's expanding, right? Not infinitely expanding, infinitely expansive. That means it is expanding, sure, but it's also already infinite. It's just going to a higher level of infinite. Um, I'll probably end up making a video sometime in the future talking about levels of infinity, because I do talk about that quite often. But for now, think of it like this, right? If you have a set of infinite, right, it goes like 1, 3, 5, 8, all the way up to infinite, right? But you have another set that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to infinite, right? Both numbers are infinite, right? But the one that goes 1, 2, 3, 4 would have more numbers than the one that goes 1, 3, 5, 8. It would have twice as many, right? So, yeah, that's basically how that works. So, it's infinite and expanding, right? And then here, the macrocosm is described as endless. And here's the thing, right? Um, it's also confirmed that the macrocosm, right? The so the living universe is infinite. Well, here the living universe is the same size as the afterlife, and they're both the same size as the demon realm, right? Those are three quote unquote universe sized dimensions, even though they're infinite. So that would be like an infinite size, right? And then the Kyle Shen realm, if I remember correctly, it's 1/8 the size of the living universe, and it orbits it, right? Which would technically mean it's still infinite. It's just a lower level of infinite. Um, and so now that that's out of the way, so Super Buu, right? Or heck, Fat Buu was gonna destroy the infinite universe in a finite amount of time, and to do that, you'd have to have infinite speed, right? So I think that's important to point out, right? Um, Now, here, it's also directly stated by, like, Vegeta that, Goku, as the Super Saiyan 3's fight with Kid Buu is gonna decide the fate of the universe. Now, that's, decent because, there's no reason to suggest that, like, Kid Buu somehow, like, infinitely faster than, freaking, like, Super Buu. That would be straight up headcanon, like, oh yeah, Super Buu's infinitely faster. That doesn't make any sense. Now, also, here's another statement that Buu will eventually get to the Supreme Kai realm. Now, like I said before, the macrocosm is infinite, so if he's gonna find his way there, even if it takes like 5 million years, that's still less than infinite years, and that would mean he has infinite speed, right? So, think that's good for speed. Now let's sort of get on to Super Boo's his hacks. Now here's the thing. Boo, all forms of Boo, but you know, this video is about Super Boo. Um, all forms of Boo have the candy beam, which is literally a matter manipulation beam that turns your opponent into candy where he can like eat you, which is funny. And he also can somehow reflect it. It's really weird. So like Fat Boo and Evil Boo are fighting, and then Boo just decides to like blow, and then he like reflects Fat Boo's candy beam, and turning Fat Boo into candy, and he eats him. Now here's the thing, right? Boo has absorption. Now the absorption is really weird, right? Because when Evil Boo ate Fat Boo, he absorbed him. Like he got his like appearance and some of his power, just like when Boo absorbs people this other way that I'm about to show you. Um, the other way for absorption is what he did to most of his victims that were, at all powerful. Like Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, after Super Boo was getting boloed by Gotenks, um, he absorbed them. He also absorbed Piccolo, like he absorbed both of them at the same time, so I think that's important to note. He can absorb more than one person at the same time. And so yeah, he gets a piece of his body and then just like sneaks it up behind you and just like gets on you, and then it comes back and becomes part of him. And then he takes on some of your physical characteristics and heck, even your mental capacity, because absorbing Piccolo made him smarter. It was actually kind of funny. And he can even absorb people that are like stronger than him because he, like I said, he absorbed Gotenks, right? Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, which was actually not by much, but mildly stronger. I mean, they were swapping hands, but Gotenks did get the better of him. Like Gotenks was actually able to turn him into gunk, and then he just kind of circled back around and started squeezing Gotenks. But here's the thing, right? Gotenks saw him circling around him, right? So he was like, oh snap, this guy's about to do something to me. And then he crushes him. Like, not literally, like, breaks his bones. But you can notice right here that Gotenks is definitely in pain. And if they weren't at least relative, then, like, Gotenks wouldn't be able to be hurt at all. But, and then he, so, yeah, and then, but, yeah, so that's his absorption. And, I guess it's sort of, a good idea for me to go into his this is a good segue to go into his regen, sorry. And this kind of goes hand in hand with his absorption. It's more evidence that Gotenks was like a bit above him, not like vastly, but just a bit. Now Gotenks has this move called the Kamikaze Ghost, and he makes these ghost looking things and he can control them, right? He can make them do that weird hand thing, and they can fly, they go, but they explode whatever they touch. And he made a bunch of them explode on Boo, and it like started melting him. It's really bad. It's like freaking Minato versus Obito, and Obito smacked freaking when Minato smacked Obito with that Rasengan, it freaking started melting him. Except this is worse. So yeah, he melted Super Buu, and then Super Buu was able to regen. And like I said before, he literally like turned Super Buu to gunk that one time, and then he regened. And Super Buu's even been turned to smoke before, so you know he has pretty good regen. You know, coming back from smoke, like that's pretty decent feat, right? Now Now that's sort of like most of the things that Super Buu has, but there's one more thing that I sort of want to add on as far as Super Buu's like hacks and hacks resistance, right? So Akira Toriyama was asked in an interview, what is the key to winning a battle, right? And it said, in battle, the most important thing is the size of your ki and your control over it. Ki as a concept, of course, includes spiritual powers as energy, genki, courage, yuki, and right-mindedness, shoki. No matter how much you train, there's limits to the physical strength, and the only way to overcome that is through ki. I think Goku was able to approach the mightiest warriors in the universe through strengthening his ki. Now, keep in mind, all characters in Dragon Ball have ki and use it, right? Some more than others, but here's the thing, right? If he has like now here's the thing. When Vegeta overcame those mind hacks, he said his pride, right? So that would imply that like right-mindedness would sort of correlate to his pride, right? And you can also make the argument for courage as well. So here's the thing, right? If you increase your like hacks resistance or just like hacks in general in Dragon Ball, you're also making yourself physically stronger, right? So that I think that's very important. And if you increase your and then when you get stronger, a lot of the time you're increasing your hack resistance, right? They sort of go hand in hand. And then of course, and of course it says spiritual energy as well. So Super Buu would have like soul resistance, but he would also be able to damage souls. Uh, Not necessarily like erase them. Like he doesn't have the Hakai or anything, but at the same time, he should still be able to damage your soul because again, spiritual energy is part of ki, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's all I can think of, and that's all I really have for Super Buu. So let's sort of do a recap, right? So Super Buu, he's 4D because he can, you know, destroy some. He can destroy patches of space time, right? He can destroy a 4D construct, and it's consistent because Gotenks also did it. Stronger form of Buu that's not infinitely stronger did the same thing as well. He has his candy beam, you know, which is a form of matter manipulation. He has his regen. He can even regen from gunk and smoke. He has he has the ability to absorb people. Again, he can I'm not sure how this works, but he absorbed people like I said that are stronger than him cuz Gotenks was not vastly stronger, but he was a good deal stronger, you know. So yeah, he has overall Super Buu is a pretty strong character. He slept on a lot. Um, Now here, let's go over some misconceptions real quick. Now that we've gone over his actual scaling, so I can debunk a few things. That whole four galaxy thing, that's really bad. Like Screw Attack said, the Dragon Ball universe is four galaxies, and a lot of Dragon Ball down players say that because it was stated like once that there are the quadrants or whatever. But that's it's not literally four galaxies, right? It's four quadrants of the universe that for some reason, I don't know if it's a mistranslation or not, but they for some reason refer to them as galaxies. But in this guide right here, the same one that says the universe is infinitely expansive, it says that the Dai Kai or the regular Kai, they um they govern over the north, south, east, and west of the universe, right? Now, it's basically right. That's saying that there's four sections, not like literally galaxies. Like, and it's kind of funny because in another guide it directly states that galaxies exist infinitely, right? Um, so yeah, I think that's also important to point out. galaxies that exist infinitely. So yeah, it's definitely not 4 galaxies. It's infinite. You can even argue for like a higher level than baseline infinite because again, it's still expanding. So yeah, definitely not 4 galaxies. And there's that whole Dispo thing that like a lot of people now think Dragon Ball isn't even light speed. Oh my gosh, no one in Z was light speed. Well, no, because I mean, Super Buu is literally gonna destroy the infinite universe in a finite amount of time, which is way above light speed. I mean, light isn't infinitely fast. Like, come on now. So yeah, those are the main things I can think of. Let me know if I missed anything in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Join my Discord server if you disagree and want to debate me. And yeah, Super Boo's a monster. The Cool Geek out. Bye.